monotheism, I want to observe the sticky wicket that my opponent finds himself in by even entering into this debate, that is, whether or not Christians are in fact polytheists for believing in the Trinity. If my opponent is right, and Christians are not monotheists but polytheists, then not only does the Trinity have to go, but the Quran would have to go right along with it. If Christians are guilty of polytheism, then the Quran would be wrong to categorically distinguish between Christians and polytheists. Now, my opponent, I'm sure, doesn't think that it does that. So why do I say that it does? He's the Muslim, after all. Well, I have many reasons, 9 to be exact. Number 1, according to Surah 5, verse 5, Muslim men are allowed to marry women from the people of the book, which means Jews and Christians, but they're not allowed to marry polytheists, according to Surah 2, 221. So if Christians are polytheists, then the Quran contradicts itself. In fact, Surah 5:5, which says that Muslim men can marry Christian women, also says Muslims can eat food prepared by the people of the book, that is, Jews and Christians again, yet they're not allowed to eat food prepared by polytheists. Surah 6, verse 121. Number 3, Surah 22, verse 17, distinguishes between Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sabaeans, and Magians on the one hand, and polytheists on the other hand, saying that Allah is going to judge between them. That is, He's going to decide who is the party with right on its side. Number 4, and similarly, Jews and Christians, though they do not believe in Muhammad or the Quran, are distinguished from polytheists in Surah 98, verse 1. I'll read the verse for you. I can't read all of these. Here's the verse from the Quran. Those who disbelieved, be they from the people of the book or from the polytheists, those who associated others with Allah in His divinity, will not desist from unbelief in Muhammad and the Quran until the clear proof should come to them. Number 5, in the same surah, verse 6, which reinforces my reading of the first verse, we're told that the people of the book, inclusive of Christians, are once again not polytheists, that is, they're distinguished from polytheists, though Christians, like polytheists, are in that verse threatened with hellfire. According to Surah 2, 105, neither the followers of the book nor the polytheists like that Allah chose Muhammad to be a prophet. Once again, Christians are distinguished from polytheists. Number 7, in Surah 5, verse 82, we're told that Jews and polytheists are the most violently opposed to the Muslims, but the Christians, in contrast to Jews and polytheists, because of their humble priests and monks, are the nearest in friendship to them. In Surah 3, verse 186, we're told that both the people of the book and the polytheists will say things that will bother or upset the faith of Muslims, like I'm doing right now. And 9th and finally, we're told in an authentic narration from Muhammad, the prophet of Islam. An authentic narration in Islam is just as authoritative as the Quran. It's not the direct speech of Allah, but it is nonetheless absolutely binding and true. In this narration from Muhammad, we're told that he said, no baby is born except upon fitrah. That means the right path. They have the right disposition of monotheism. But then it says, that is the Islamic version of monotheism. But then it says it is his parents who make him a Jew or a Christian or a polytheist. Notice the Quran categorically, repeatedly distinguishes between Jews and Christians. And so in light of this, I think my opponent has a real problem on his hand. Hypothetically speaking, if he were able to prove, and I don't think that he can, if he were able to prove that Christians are polytheists for believing in the Trinity, then he would also be proving that his book is a false book. With that noted, then I turn to my positive case for Trinitarian monotheism, which doesn't depend upon what I consider to be the inconsistency of the Quran with his position. It doesn't rest on that at all.